You got a bonus. Real money. Maybe $5,000. Maybe $10,000. 2 months later, it's gone. Not on one big thing. No single moment you can point to. It just dissolved. And the most unsettling part? You can't fully explain where half of it went. That's not a you problem. That's a trap. Specifically designed, deliberately set, before the money even hit your account. There's a glitch in human psychology that activates the moment unexpected money lands in your bank. And the entire consumer system, every ad, every seasonal sale, every limited time offer, is engineered to exploit that glitch at exactly the right moment. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how it works, who profits from it, and the 4-step protocol that stops it cold every single time. Because the difference between people who build real wealth and people who don't often comes down to one thing: not the salary, not the job title, what they do in the 48 hours after a windfall. Let's start with someone you probably recognize. Mid-December, a Thursday morning. Marcus opens his banking app and stops. $8,500 just landed, his annual bonus. He knew it was coming, but seeing the number sitting there is different. His shoulders drop. The tension he's been carrying for months just lifts. For the first time in a long time, he feels genuinely ahead. Marcus is 33, works in sales, hits his numbers. A normal person with a normal job and a normal relationship with money. Which is exactly why his story matters. By mid-February, $7,200 of that money is gone. Not on one thing. That's what makes this so hard to see. There was the flight he'd been putting off for months, $680. The hotel upgrade because the cheap option had terrible reviews and he'd been working hard all year, $320 more. A new laptop because the old one was genuinely struggling and this finally felt like the right moment, $1,400. All reasonable, all justifiable, all planned on the same Thursday his bonus landed. Then there was the credit card. He paid off $2,000 of his balance. And this part is important, because it felt like the responsible move. It felt like he was finally getting ahead of something, like wealth building. 6 weeks later, that balance was almost back to where it started. A car repair, a dental bill his insurance didn't fully cover. Life, doing what life does. By February, Marcus is sitting in essentially the same financial position he was in before December. Same balance, same stress, same quiet wondering about where it all went. He wasn't reckless. Every single decision made sense in the moment. There was no single thing he could point to and say, that was the mistake. That's the trap. Not one bad decision. A dozen reasonable ones. Each made inside a psychological window that was specifically designed to make them feel inevitable. And by the time the window closed, the money was gone and the window was invisible. This trap has a name. And once you understand how it works, you'll see it everywhere. Casinos figured something out a long time ago. When you walk in, they don't let you bet with cash. They make you trade your money for colorful plastic chips first. Why? Because handing over a $100 bill hurts. Psychologists call it the pain of paying. There's a measurable stress response in your brain every time real money leaves your hands. But throwing a red chip onto a roulette table? That feels like a game. The chip doesn't feel like 4 hours of your life. It doesn't feel like the commute, the meetings, the deadlines. It feels like a token. The abstraction breaks the connection between money and reality. Your bonus is a giant casino chip. The moment that lump sum landed in Marcus's account, his brain did something automatic, something he had no control over. It reclassified the money, moved it from the real money bucket into a completely different one, a bucket labeled extra, free, reward. And money in that bucket doesn't follow the same rules. Think about how you treat your regular paycheck. If someone suggested you blow half of it on a spontaneous weekend trip, you'd look at them like they'd lost their mind. That money has weight. Your brain has already allocated it before it even arrives. Now think about how you treated the last bonus you got. Different, wasn't it? Same dollars. Completely different psychology. This isn't a quirk, it's a documented phenomenon. Behavioral economist Richard Thaler won the Nobel Prize studying it. Your brain genuinely categorizes money differently based on where it came from, and that invisible categorization controls everything you do with it. Here's the version of this that most people miss entirely. A tax refund is not a gift from the government. It is your own money that you overpaid throughout the year, returned to you 12 months late with zero interest. You earned it in January. They held it all year. And when April comes, your brain throws a party for getting back what was already yours. Same glitch, different trigger. The brain doesn't need a real windfall. It just needs money to arrive in a lump sum it didn't expect. The reclassification happens instantly. The rules change, and the spending follows. The system knows this, intimately, which is why what happens next isn't an accident. Marcus thought he was making individual decisions in December. He wasn't. Every single thing he bought, the flight, the hotel upgrade, the laptop, had an entire industry behind it that built its first quarter revenue model around people exactly like him. In exactly that window, with exactly that psychology. They knew he was coming. They staffed up, they ran the sale, they wrote the subject line, they placed the ad. Car dealerships call it tax time blowout season. Every March and April, because their data shows those are the weeks when buyers are most emotionally primed to commit to a large purchase they wouldn't have made in January. Luxury brands launch their biggest campaigns in January, when corporate bonuses land. Travel companies push premium upgrades in the same window, not budget options, premium, because windfall psychology makes people upgrade in ways they never would with salary money. Marcus thought he was browsing. He was walking a path that had been engineered specifically for him. But here's the part that should stop you cold. It's not just the obvious purchases. Even the products that feel like responsible financial decisions are designed to capture windfall psychology. Use your tax refund as a down payment. That's a car commercial. You're taking windfall money and locking yourself into 60 months of fixed payments, a new obligation your regular salary now has to carry every month. The windfall disappears. The commitment stays. Put your bonus toward a home upgrade. That might be a home equity loan pitch. You're converting temporary cash into long-term debt secured against your house. The system doesn't just wait for the impulsive version of you. It has a product ready for every version of you. The spender, the responsible feeling debt payer, the home improvement planner, the cautious investor who still ends up in a high-fee fund. Every behavioral pattern has been studied. Every version of you has been accounted for. You are the last person in the room to know the game being played. And until you see it, every windfall you receive will be spent before you've made a single conscious decision. That's what makes the next section so important. Not in dollars, in years. That's what this is actually going to cost you. And most people never see it this way, because the system works very hard to make sure they don't. Let's stay with Marcus. Take $5,000 from his bonus. The discretionary core, the part that wasn't earmarked for anything specific. Instead of the hotel upgrade and the laptop, he drops it into a broad market index fund, walks away, never adds another dollar. At the market's historical average of roughly 7% annually. After 10 years, $9,800. After 20 years, $19,300. After 30 years, $38,000. From one bonus, one decision, one time. But that's not the number that should stop you. Marcus doesn't get one bonus. He gets one every year. If he invested $5,000 of his bonus every single year, nothing else changes, no stock picking, just a consistent contribution to a boring index fund. After 10 years, $69,000. After 20 years, $205,000. After 30 years, $472,000, nearly $500,000, from one decision, made once a year. With money his brain currently labels as free, 5 years, 5 bonuses. Let's be generous and say he kept $500 from each, $2,500 in total. If he'd invested $5,000 a year instead, he'd have roughly $29,000 right now. $29,000 versus $2,500. That's not just a number. $29,000 is 25 months of living expenses. It's the financial runway that changes how you show up at work. Because when you have 25 months of breathing room, you stop making decisions from fear. You negotiate differently. You can walk away from things that don't serve you. Marcus has $2,500 and a credit card balance. He doesn't have any of that. That gap, $29,000 versus $2,500, is the real cost of the bonus trap. Not the jacket, not the laptop, the compounding that didn't happen. Here's the image I want you to hold on to. Every windfall is a seed. Spend it on something that depreciates. A trip, a gadget, clothes, and you eat the seed. One small, temporary moment of satisfaction. The trip ends. The gadget gets slow, the jacket fades, and the seed is gone. Invest it instead, and you plant it. A planted seed doesn't give you one apple. It becomes a tree that produces fruit for decades, long after you've forgotten what you almost bought with it. Every bonus you've spent on consumption was a seed you ate. Every one you invest is a tree you'll eventually live under. The tree doesn't care that you didn't plant it. It just doesn't grow. No crash, no crisis, just the slow, invisible accumulation of nothing, while the compounding that should have been happening silently isn't. The next time free money drops into your account, I want you to cross out whatever number's on the price tag. Write $38,000 instead, because that's what you're actually trading. If it's worth $38,000 of your future, buy it. No guilt, but decide with the real number, not the one the store is showing you. Now, here's how to make sure this never happens again. You've just seen the problem from every angle. The glitch that makes your brain treat bonus money as casino chips. The system that was built around that glitch before your bonus even landed. The math showing exactly what it costs you over time. Now here's the only thing that actually matters. What you do the next time that money arrives. Not inspiration. Not a vague intention to be smarter with money. A 4-step protocol you run once, and then every time after that, automatically. Because the bonus trap doesn't survive a plan. It only works in the absence of one. Step 1. The 24-hour freeze. When the money lands, do nothing. Not think carefully about it. Nothing. Don't open Amazon. Don't text anyone about a trip. Don't move the money. For 24 hours, the windfall doesn't exist as something to spend. Here's the thing most people don't know about that dopamine spike. When you see a large, unexpected balance, it measurably impairs financial judgment for hours, sometimes days. Making decisions in that window is like negotiating a contract while mildly drunk. Your rational brain is not running the meeting. The excited one is. The freeze is the only intervention that works because it doesn't ask you to fight the feeling. It just delays acting on it. 24 hours later, your brain has reclassified the money as real. The casino chips have turned back into cash, and you can think clearly. Step 2. Move 80% before your lifestyle claims it. The day after the freeze ends. Before you look at flights, before you tell anyone the money came in, before your brain has had a chance to start building a spending plan. Move 80% of the windfall directly into your investment account. Automatically. That morning. Before anything else. The remaining 20% is yours to spend however you want. Completely guilt-free, no second guessing. That's your pressure valve. It keeps the psychological contract intact so you don't feel deprived and eventually snap. But the 80% moves first, every time, without exception. Why 80%? Because it's enough to be genuinely meaningful, enough to actually widen the distance between what you earn and what you require to survive, which is the only number that eventually buys you real freedom. But it leaves enough that you're not white-knuckling it. Step 3. Kill high-interest debt before you invest. If you're carrying credit card debt or any loan above 10% interest, that comes before the index fund. Paying off a card charging 24% interest is a guaranteed, risk-free 24% return on your money. Nothing in the market reliably beats that. The order is freeze, kill the toxic debt, then redirect what remains into long-term investments. Don't skip the debt step. When the interest rate on your debt is higher than your expected investment return, the math doesn't work in your favor. And notice what Marcus got wrong here. He paid off $2,000 of his card. That part was right. But then he spent the rest, and within 2 months the balance was nearly back. Paying off debt only works if you stop reloading it. The windfall cleared the card. The spending habits refilled it. Step 4. Automate and lock the doors. This is where good intentions go to die. Most people leave the windfall sitting in their checking account with a genuine plan to transfer it this weekend, or when work calms down, or after the holidays. They never do it. Set up the automated transfer the day the freeze ends. Schedule it. If the money moves automatically, you don't need willpower at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday when you're tired and there's a sale running. The decision was already made. The door is already locked. Willpower depletes. Automation doesn't. The bonus trap lives in the gap between good intentions and actually moving the money. Automation closes that gap permanently. Let's go back to Marcus. This December, his bonus lands on a Thursday. $9,200. He sees the notification. He feels the dopamine. That same flood of relief and possibility he's felt every December for the last 6 years. This time he recognizes it for what it is, a chemical response, not financial reality. He puts his phone down, does nothing. Friday morning, before he opens any other app, he moves $7,500 to his investment account. Automatically. Before he looks at flights, before he tells anyone the bonus came in, before his lifestyle has had a chance to calculate what it wants. The remaining $1,700 he spends freely. A good dinner, a weekend away. Something he actually chose, not something the window chose for him. His life looks exactly the same from the outside, but $7,500 didn't dissolve this year. $7,500 became a tree. Next December, it will happen again. And the year after. And every year after that. In 10 years, those decisions will be worth roughly $104,000. In 20 years, over $300,000. Not from a promotion, not from a second job. From one decision, repeated once a year, with money his brain used to label as free. You saw the glitch. Now you know the patch. The next bonus that lands in your account. It won't feel any different. The dopamine will still hit. The ideas will still come. The system will still be waiting with its perfectly timed ads and its calibrated subject lines. But you'll know what's happening, and knowing changes everything. Freeze for 24 hours, move 80% first, kill the toxic debt, automate it so willpower is never the variable. Do that once, then again next year, then every year after that. The tree grows whether you're watching it or not. If this changed how you'll think about the next windfall, subscribe. Every week we break down the systems that quietly run your financial life. And more importantly, exactly what to do about them. Stop surviving. Start building. I'll see you in the next one.